Okay, so we're now back, and this time what we're looking at is the excitement of creating a pilotable bear here in Unity using the Spatial SDK. The Spatial SDK is the software developers kit for Spatial that will let us pilot this bear to the Florida Wildlife Corridor as it leaves the Rosebud Continuum from a photogrammetric drone flight that I did over a piece of it, and tries to make its way across either Hale Road, Hale no, or Collier Parkway down here, or over to the 41. So we want to be able to pilot the bear safely as we build out the world, so we know how we can tell other bears where to go and how to go about it so they don't die. So that's the aim of the game. And you can see here that we have a couple of bears. This bear here is just a model, whereas this bear here has an interactable element. What is that interactable element, you may ask? Well, let's just take a look at it right here. We have a golf cart, and let me pull this over here and see how everything disappears, but there is that line around it. That's because there is an actual, if I can find it here, there is an actual golf cart body collider model. There we go. And that's the bear model dropped into there, and there is also the golf cart model. So there's the golf cart. So this golf cart here actually has a whole bunch of scripts and stuff, and this is part of the Spatial SDK's example pack. So when you look at the examples here and you look at golf cart, there's a golf cart that I had simply dragged into the world. And that golf cart had all sorts of stuff going on so that it could be driven. And you can see there's one in here that we can drive. I just copied or duplicated that over to here, went pick over here and then duplicated over to here. And then I moved a bear inside. I took this bear, duplicated it, and moved it inside. And you can see that over here. There's the brown bear. Boop, disappears. So I put that inside as a child of the golf cart, so that when I take the golf cart now and make that invisible, the golf cart's still there, all the scripts, all the coding, all the functionality, but the golf cart just disappears. But it's actually there, so you're not actually going to sit in the bear and drive it. You're going to sit in the golf cart, whose back I put at the driver's seat. And you can see when I go to driver's seat, there's the driver's seat right there. And let me turn off the golf cart again so you can see. But the driver's seat is right there. I just put it on the top of the bear. Now let me close this out so you don't, there, it makes it easier to see. See how that box is there? Right there? That's my driver's seat right there. If I hit F, then I can zoom in on it. So that's where the person is going to sit. Now I can make it sit a little bit closer in if I want. That would be fine. But that is how we are going to drive a bear, the same way that we would drive a golf cart. Now let's also look at this other part, which is if we were to sit on the bear and drive it, it would look really funny because we don't really want to drive the bear. We want to be a spirit, the animal walker spirit, who guides the bear through the landscape. And to do that, what I've done is I've created an avatar here, this guy. And this guy here is one of the drop-ins that they had, one of the prefabs that they had. If you look here in examples, and let me find examples again, and we go to, ouch, 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 my son is biting me, ow, ow, nigh. Okay, I made it's called Spation, and in Spation, there is this character. And nigh. Okay, come here, let's go, sit with your mom. Okay, so I was dragging Spation in, and then I went in and took this space character, and he looks transparent because I made him transparent. But I took this Spation and I made a duplicate of it, which you can see here. That's my duplicate. Made several of them, and I made it transparency. Now, how did I make this creature transparency, you might ask? Well, I went to the textures that are in my duplicate, and I made them really small, first of all. But then what I did is I changed the way that the materials are done. So the materials, for example, let's look at this part of the material here. The shader, I went to, as a shader, I went to transparency and I made it Arnold subsurface transparent, and then went down to opacity and I changed the opacity like that. And as long as I'm doing that, as long as I have to find the right materials here that I worked on, but if I'm in the materials, then I am able to get those materials. There they are. So there's my materials. So you can see here, if I go to opacity, there's the boots, there is the legs, there is the body. So yeah, and then of course there would be, if you were using not the transparency, if you were using universal pipeline and you did lit and you did that for each of them, then as you'll be able to see in a second, everything starts coming up rosy. So there's universal pipeline and lit, and then finally we get to this one here and we say universal pipeline and lit, and there is the character. But I didn't want to have the character be seen because I want it to be a spirit. So once again, I go down to transparent and pick Arnold surface transparent, and then I go and change the opacity, and here the same thing. So go to transparency and there, and bring down the opacity to about there maybe, and there. So it takes a while to do, and you just have to get used to it and put up with it. So there we go. Is that one there? Her legs are now disappearing like Sue Storm in the Fantastic Four. And here again, we go to the, have to type it in, transparent, and bring it down, and there we go. So now we have a transparent character. That's what I did in order to make that character a ghost who can ride the bear so that it doesn't look like there's a human being ride the bear. But now how do you get the avatar?
But you see the bear.
Yeah, you see the bear. You want to see the bear. You, the human, become the ghost. You become the spirit. Then you walk up to the bear and then you ask the bear permission, can I guide you? And then you get into the bear and now your spirit is in the bear and you try to guide it safely through, because you as a human know what's safe and what's not safe in Pasco County.
The opposite. I thought
no.
the ghost is the bear and you're a human.
No, no, not at all. No, it's the legs there. So you can work with the opacity as you like.
Let's try it.
All right, now to make it right. So how do you do that? Well, that involves scripting. And this has an interactable script. And this script in Script Machine, if we edit the graph, you can see it's very simple. What you have is an on interact. So spatial, there is in here, when you add nodes, you can type in spatial. And you can see there's all sorts of spatial things from the SDK that you can use. So I added a node called on interact event. Now this event goes where? It goes to local actor set avatar. Once again, I had done local actor set, and there it is in spatial actor. You can see that these are commands for setting an avatar in spatial, but it had to say which avatar do we want to set. There's a skew number that I put into a string variable. So this string is a string literal, and that is the, over here is the skew. And where did I get the skew from? So I could add it in, telling the spatial program which avatar to add. Well, I'd already published, and let me close this graph editor down. I'd already published this in spatial, published the avatar, and when you look at the configuration, you will see that my avatar has a skew number. And when you, that's Rosebud Front Lawn. So let me see. When I look at the, not the space, but the avatar, and I find my avatar, which is the ghostly animated one, There it is. This avatar has a SKU number 64FE3, and you hit copy. And then when you go into your script for this guy, which is the visual scripting scene variables or the interactable, let me see how we open that up. Come over here.
Can you see now? Just
I don't
here.
know where Nye is. No, he's completely gone. So when you look at it and you go to the script for this character, which is here, and let me make sure that I'm on interactable, and there it is, and go to edit graph. There it is, 64FE38A. That is the script. That's the SKU number for that package. Then I published this avatar alone, published that as an avatar package to Spatial, so that SKU number is in Spatial on the web. Then I went to my active package, my Rosebud front lawn space, and I published the whole scene with this avatar standing in there. Okay? So that was a two-step process that I had to do. That's explained in my tutorial, the document of which I will put in the YouTube link below, so to speak. So I have a bear that is interactable because the script is the actual golf cart, and then I have the avatar that I've made transparent, which has its little script only to tell Spatial which avatar to use. Let's see what happens after I've published it and made it work. This is the exciting part. So we will go to the actual, there we are. Okay, we'll go here, and you can see I've jumped in the world. Let me refresh it so you can see how I come into the world. Rosebud front lawn for Animal Walk at Spirit interactions. And let it load. And let it load. Let it load, baby, load. Let it load, baby, load. Let it load. So keep your hands on the bear and your eyes upon the wheels. Okay, so I come into the space here, and I can see that if I wanted to, and Inashi should look at this, if I wanted to, I could just walk over to the bear and pilot it, if the bear would allow me. This is a bear, by the way, that got hit by a car. So we have to be careful with that. So I go up here, and I can drive this bear. Look how I can walk over as me. And now I can go around.
Where's your spirit?
Well, that's the thing. I haven't gotten the spirit yet. What I'm showing, first of all, is how awkward it is. If I wanted to ride the bear, yes, I could indeed ride that bear. So that is just really the golf cart riding around. Okay. But let me exit the bear and come over here. That's the same script as getting into this car and driving the golf cart. Except I just got stuck in the mud. And it was front wheel drive, so you have to reset. That wasn't my point anyway. I can get out of here and walk around. So the point was, and look at this, here I walk up to the spirit.
What's spirit? Let me see.
Right, so here is the spirit, that space spirit, the ghost. So I walk up to the ghost, and it says, become an animal walker spirit. And when I hit F now, I become the ghost. So now I can come to the bear and ask permission. May I pilot you to safety? And the bear says yes. Then we start to, except his legs are stuck in the mud. So let me reboot this because I've got to extend well, it's because the landscape is only partly finished so far. But let me show you that again and how satisfying it is for this narrative. The narrative being that we have to be the stewards of all creation because we're the ones destroying the other two-legged, four-legged, six-legged, eight-legged, no-legged, finned and winged walkers on the planet. We've destroyed their habitat, and so now we've got to help guide them through the mess that we made so they can get to safety. That is that's the narrative. So once again, let's go over here, and let's go over to the animal walker spirit. Let's hit F to turn into it. Let's walk over here, past the pig over there and past the goat. let's walk over and let's get up to the bear. First, let's go and pay respects to the bear that was hit by the car over here. Poor being. That was sad. Oh my. Yes, so now that we've paid our respects to the deceased bear, now we can take our animal walker spirit and come over here and get on the bear and then start driving around. Now I can go off the world because if I go fast enough, then I just end on the map. And then as you can see, we're okay in Pasco here, okay here, but somehow as we get down here, we start getting toward some of the highways, and that's when it's going to get deadly. We're okay here. We have to be careful here. There is Collier Parkway. Very dangerous. Stop, stop, stop. Look both ways. Is there a car coming that way? Is there a car coming that way? Can we get to the Forest Reserve? Cross the road very carefully. And now that we're safely, whoops, whoa, get out of the road, get out of the road. Get out of the road, get out of the road. Okay, now we're on a patch of forest and the bear is safe. Okay, so that's when we can exit and say, I hope that that was helpful now that you've found your part of the habitat. We wish you the best of luck. We'll be looking after you. If you need us, give us a call, and then we can go back home. And that is the narrative that we have. Of course, here we have to look both ways, left and right on the highway. Now, of course, this is a rudimentary world. It will have cars in it. It will have fences. It'll have all sorts of things that you'll have to navigate to save the bear. So far, all we have is this little photogrammetric model that has not been cleaned up of the front lawn of the Rosebud Continuum Eco Science Center, which we're making part of the Florida Wildlife Corridor for our home. And then you have, of course, the pigs and the goats and then the dead bear. And if we need to, we can always get back in this car and drive it. But there we go. And then we can drive anywhere we want you to go. So, oh, if I could get past that. There we go. And then we can go back and see how our bear is doing in an emergency, except we're still a ghost. So I still have to program this so you can turn into a, oh no, the world did turn out to be flat. The flat earthers were right. Oh no, what are we gonna do? So there's that. Okay, hope you enjoyed yourself and come and visit our world because we think it's a lot of fun and you too can help guide, steward wildlife using spatial to the Florida Wildlife Corridor into safety.